Hello, everyone. We're just gonna give it a couple more minutes to see if some more students show up.
Can you hear me, Heather?
Yep.
All right, there's still a couple of people joining, so just give us 1 second. All right, while we're waiting, I will just introduce myself for those of you that I haven't introduced myself to yet. I am Amy Dengler, the Associate Program Chair for the Pharmacy Technician Program here at Ross. So I am the one behind the scenes creating all of your courses and content and quizzes and homework and discussion boards and check-ins. So um, we'll get to know each other pretty well over the next few months. Also on the call, we have our lab instructor, Heather Holmes, who will be presenting the labs tonight. And we do have some of your instructors on. It looks like Missy's on. And just Missy. All right, so we'll go ahead and get started. So the labs that we will complete in this program are called Science Interactive Labs. So that's who you're going to be getting the lab kit from. We'll talk more about that in just a second. All right, so let's meet our lab team. So of course there's me down there. I included myself because I am in charge of the labs. Otherwise, we have Amy Wells, one of our lab instructors, Heather Holmes, our lead lab instructor, and then we have Jamar Everett, who is one of our subs for the labs. I see someone said they won't be able to stay for the whole thing. No worries. I'm actually recording this, so I will post it in the courses tomorrow for you guys to view. All right, so there are a total of 19 labs or proficiencies in the program. So I have them all kind of lined out here. So right now you are currently taking course 401 and 402. So you have a lab due in each course. So getting started was already due last night. And then the lab safety will be due on Tuesday night next week. And then you can kind of see the labs as we go forward in each course that we take. So completing labs are a requirement for the courses and completion of the program. If you do not complete one or more labs in a term, you will automatically fail the course no matter what grade you earn. So we've had lots of students who earned a B but didn't do any of the labs, and in that sense, they failed the course. So you don't want to work hard on everything else and just choose not to do the labs because you're ultimately going to fail. So you want to make sure that you're doing these, and just remember that the labs are fun. These first couple are more of like just learning how the labs will work, not maybe as fun as some of the future ones you'll have. If you do end up not completing a lab during the term, you will have to retake the term at the end of the program. And actually, it's probably going to be moved up to like you'll have to retake the courses within a couple mods of you failing it. So we're working on changing that. But and that's the same if you were to fail any course as well, same thing, because it's essentially failing the course. This will delay your externship and graduation from the program. And also, just so you're aware, if you fail one course but pass the other, that still is going to resort in making you have to complete both classes again during a term. Labs are also worth 25% of your final grade. So what you get on the labs does matter. It matters in a few different ways, but in terms of right now, what we're talking about, labs are worth 25% of your final grade. So if you get like a 70 on your lab versus like a 90, it is going to drag your grade down a little bit. You do not need the lab kit for getting started in lab safety labs. So don't wait on those. Don't like in your mind say, I'm going to wait till I get my lab kit before I do these labs. You absolutely do not want to do that because you're probably not going to get your lab kit until the last week of this mod, first week of the next mod. So definitely you have to do them right away. Don't save them for later. Get these done and out of the way so you can relax for the rest of this term. And then next term you will get your lab kit. So a little bit more on lab kit. So each student will receive one lab kit for their use throughout the program. So you will order a lab kit in week 1. It's not going to be in the Getting Started lab. It is in the Getting Started lab too, but to open up the labs, you will have to complete the lab kit order form and the response. So Heather will show us how to do that in just a second when we do the labs, but you will be responsible for receiving the lab kit on the day it arrives to your home. So tracking information will be sent to your Ross email address once the kit ships. So you should see once it ships, you'll get like a FedEx tracking info, and it'll tell you the date it's supposed to arrive. And then you can kind of plan around that. You want to make sure that either you're going to be home or someone's going to be home to grab it from you. If you live in, someplace that you've had packages stolen from before, you can also send it to a FedEx pickup point if you are worried about someone maybe taking it. But you definitely want to be following along on the tracking info. So that way you have a plan for the day it arrives. So those will go to your Ross email. So make sure you have access to your Ross email and can check your email and things like that. If you don't, let us know at the end and we'll get that worked out for you. If for any reason you need a replacement lab kit, the cost is going to be around $400. So you do not want to lose this. Make sure you're putting your lab kit away from children, pets, anything that can damage it. You definitely want to keep everything in the box if you can, just because it'll keep everything together. But obviously you don't want to put it in a place where it's going to get like wet or damaged. It will be your responsibility to maintain and keep all portions of the lab kit until you have completed all of 19 of your labs. So I wouldn't throw anything away until you're all done. The things that you finished, you can just maybe keep in your lab kit until we're all done. Or once the lab's graded, you can probably get rid of it, but just don't throw away anything. In case you use the wrong thing for the lab, don't throw anything away, because once you do need it, you might have to take it from there. And then just, an FYI, I've had students who are like, well, I'm not going to pay $400 for a new lab kit, so I just won't have a lab kit. Well, you have to have a lab kit. There's no way you can complete this program without a lab kit. So they're important. And where do you go to complete your lab? So hopefully you've already checked out the week 1 content in the courses. In the 401 course, that's where getting started is. And lab safety is in week 2 in the 402 class. So all portions of the lab must be completed to be marked as proficient and done. So don't just start the lab and click through to the end. You actually have to do it, or it will not be marked as proficient. We'll simply pass the order or pass the lab in the system and mark it as a 0 and come back reach out to you and let you know that you have to complete certain things. Once you've submitted the lab, it will have to be manually graded. So please be advised that there is a 48-hour turnaround time for labs to be graded. And just so you know, this is for all things to be graded too as well. Once graded, you need to earn at least 60% or higher to be marked proficient. If you're under that threshold, your instructor will reach out and let you know what needs to be fixed. Make sure you're checking your messages, because this is where they will reach out to you at. And just a reminder that all things that have to be uploaded, so photos, I don't have this on here, but photos, a lot of the labs do require photos of proof that you did the lab. Those have to be uploaded, or we will come back to you and say, hey, we need the picture uploaded again. We'll open it back up for you to go ahead and put that picture in. That will be required. Once your instructors have graded items, you can go back in and complete anything you got wrong. But as long as you scored high enough, your instructors probably won't reach out to you about that. So if you have questions or need help regarding the labs, please reach out to our lab email at phtlabs@rosseducation.edu. You should expect someone to reach out within 24 hours. So just an FYI, those emails are going to Amy Wells and Heather Holmes, the lab instructors. But your regular instructors, Missy, Carrie, and Danielle, are also grading your labs and managing them as well. So you can also reach out to them, and they should be able to help you through it. And if they need to, they can reach out to Heather or Amy. We do have live tutors. They can help with everything, but they also are really great at helping with labs. So if you didn't know, 2 of our live tutors that we have, Courtney and Melissa, are previous students. So they've actually done all the labs before themselves. So, they're really great at helping. All of them are, but, just those 2 have actually done them. So any day from 12 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can click on that link. It's also in your courses to connect to a tutor virtually. And again, do not wait until the last minute to start these labs. And this is kind of something to just keep with you while you're doing all the labs throughout your time in the program. Because yeah, these first 2 labs will be easy for you to get out of the way soon. But once we start doing the more advanced labs where you're actually doing stuff in the labs, it might be more time consuming. So definitely do not wait then either. Start them at the beginning of the term, get them out of the way as best as you can, get your questions answered. Do not wait till the last week to get these done. All right, so now we will have our lab instructor, Heather, give us a brief tour of the 2 labs you'll complete this term, and she'll show you guys where to complete the lab kit order form. Heather, are you ready to take over?
Yes, I am. Let me just share my screen really quick. Okay, so I am in the 401, and like we mentioned before, the getting started is in week 1. And if you go to your week 1, you'll be able to see that there's a link that will take me to it. It will automatically take you to the graded labs required proficiency tile, which is located here as well. So you can either go through the link that is in like your week 1, or you can go and click directly to here. So as we mentioned before, you will have your required lab kit order form. You'll have to do that first to be able to unlock your getting started lab. Go in here so I can show you guys. So once you get in there, it will give you all these steps and everything you can read over. But when you scroll down here, this is the lab kit order form. And if you notice, that has its own like little scroller to it that is different from the one for the lab itself. So you want to keep that in mind when you're filling that out, and you'll put your Ross email and your name, address, and everything. And you'll want to make sure you're using the inside scroller, because after you fill everything out, this is the submit button that you'll hit to submit your order form. It's not going to save all your information on here. It automatically sends us it and puts it into like a spreadsheet for us. So don't be concerned if after you submit everything, or if when you hit the submit button, that it doesn't save everything. That's normal. And if you like put anything in there, you can also hit a clear form button. And then once you scroll further, you have one question that you'll have to answer, and this, you just click on here and type in there. And the second submit button, so submit quiz, make sure that you hit this because it will submit the whole like quiz. And if you don't hit this button, but you still submitted your lab kit order form, we won't be able to give you a grade for it because it will be like in process still. So we're physically can't go in there and put a grade in it until you hit the submit quiz button. And then after you do that, we have to manually go in there and check your address, and we will put a grade in there for it. And then that's when your getting started lab will be unlocked. So it might not be unlocked right away. So you'll just have to give us like some time to be able to go in there and grade it. And if you have any questions or like issues with the order form, email us and we can help you through it. Now I'm going to go to the Getting Started lab. Okay, so this one is easy peasy. There's only 5 pages. Every lab that you do is going to be set up in 3 different sections, and you're always going to be doing them in order. So you'll always start off with the exploration, then it'll go to the experimentation, and then lastly, you'll do the evaluation. And down here, it explains what each of those sections are. The experimentation part is usually where we have like some data tables or areas where you have to type in an answer and upload pictures. And once you scroll to the bottom of this page, this is your first question, and it's asking which order that you'd be doing these in. And it's just a little drop down menu, and you can click which one. And then you can just go to the next page. Also, it shows you on the left-hand side that these are your pages. You can also independently click them on the side as well. So another handy thing to know is how to print or take screenshots. And it goes over that, and it also goes over if you just are using a PC or a Mac. I use a PC, so I use us taking a screenshot all the time. So this is going to be really useful. And you just be, for the PC, it's just hitting the Windows key, Shift and S all at the same time. And then if you use a Mac, they also have the instructions for that. And then at the bottom of this page, you have your next question. So for this, it is multiple answers, and it tells you how many that you will need to select. And it will only allow you to select up to that many. So it's not even going to allow me to try and click more than 2. And if I don't think that this one is correct, I could just re-click it and it unclicks it, and then I'm able to change my answer if I wanted to do that. For the next page, we have the experimentation portion of this lab, and all you're going to be doing is you're going to write your name and date on a piece of paper, and you're going to take a picture of it, and we're going to upload it into the lab. So what I generally do is I'll take a picture of something and then I'll send it to myself in an email, like if I'm taking a picture with my phone, and then I'll download the image from my email onto my computer, and then I'll be able to upload it to any labs. And I'm going to give you an example. I already have the image saved to my desktop. And what I'm going to do is I will go to Add File, and I go to my computer, and then I hit the upload button, and then I know that it's on my desktop, and then you'll hit open, and I can add, and you can see how it generated down here. That is how I know that it added to the lab. I'm sorry if you can hear the beeping. It is my smoke alarm going off in the background. Everything's fine. If you wanted to delete it, if you accidentally clicked the wrong file, you can just hit the X and it automatically takes it off. And then you'll just have to go back in and add it. Okay, so now we have the final step is the evaluation. And normally it's more than just like a few questions, but since this is literally the first lab that you're doing, it's only like what, 1 or 2. And it's just the true false. And then the last question. And then once you think that you finished everything, you will hit submit quiz, and it will tell you if you missed any questions. Since I didn't answer any of the questions. That's why it's showing up like, oh yeah, you didn't answer question 1, 2. You can click on these and it will take you back to the page that it's on, which is really nice. So if you ever accidentally just missed one, you can just click on there and go back to it. And then you'd have to go back to the submit quiz button again and submit it. And then once you submit it, it should pop up with like a little check mark saying, oh yeah, you submitted it, hooray. So for some labs,
What's up?
we will have to manually grade them. So for example, like if you have to upload a picture or have to type in any answers, those are generally the questions that we have to go in and manually
Stop playing with me.
grade.
Yeah. He was talking my name in his mouth. Wow, breastfeed. Ain't no milk
Can
in that.
everybody make sure that you are muted, please?
Ain't no milk in that, dog.
No, what you was a baby.
Erica, you are not on mute. Can you make sure your mic is muted?
For the labs that we have to go in and manually grade, you won't be able to go right back into the lab to be able to retry anything. Because if you want to go back into a lab, you will only be able to redo the answers that you got wrong. It will only allow you to do the answers that you got wrong. So you won't have to go back in and redo all of it, which is also really nice. And that is pretty much everything for the first one. So now I'm going to move on to the lab safety, and it is in 402, and that one's going to be in your week 2. And again, you can either click this tile to go to the lab, or again, they have a separate link in the week 2 as well that will take you to this. So I'm just going to go in here and scroll down to the lab safety. And again, it's due the 9th. Okay, so this one is a little more lengthy than the last one. And again, we start with the exploration, then we will do the experimentation and evaluation. So for this first part, it gives you a video to watch and it goes over just general guidelines for doing your labs and stuff at home. So just like safety guidelines and stuff like that. So you'll want to watch this before you answer your first question. And for the first question, it is just a matching. So you'll match the terms, which are on the left-hand side, with the description, which is on the right-hand side. And again, it's just a drop-down menu, and you'll pick the number that you think would go with the term. Also, there's only going to be one question per page, so that's why there's so many pages. So pages 1 through 6 literally just have questions on them. So some are true, false. Some questions, like you've seen before, are more of like a multiple choice style. On page 7 is where it talks about your lab kit. When you get it, it will come in a box that looks like this. And you won't have anything in your lab kit to where you're going to be using like heat. So you don't have to worry about that. But you do want to keep it in an area where there are no kids or pets because you don't want them to get into it. And then at the bottom of this page, we have a question that goes along with it. Next, we go over personal safety precautions. You're going to want to know all of this information for the next questions. So it's really important that you go over them. Like it says, it goes over safety goggles, and you should be wearing your safety goggles whenever you're performing the experiments. You shouldn't be eating or drinking or smoking while doing them either. If you have long hair, you should be tying it up, and you should be wearing clothing that covers your arms and legs, and you should be wearing closed-toed shoes. Your work area should be clean and tidy. You don't want everything to be messy. You should be working in a well-ventilated area. You should always be washing your hands before and after you do your experimentations, and just stuff like that. This goes more in depth about proper lab attire and PPE, which is personal protective equipment. You don't have to wear a lab coat or apron, but it just talks about it. What you more need to focus on are like long sleeve shirts and full length pants. And like I said before, the closed toe shoes. And in your lab kit, you do get a face mask. And I don't know, actually, I don't know if you get a face mask, but you do get the goggles and gloves. So you want to make sure that you're wearing those when you do them. And down here, it kind of gives it in like a data table style of information, and it will tell you if you can substitute the item or not. Like for instance, the safety goggles, there is no substitution for them. Like you cannot wear sunglasses instead of them, for example. And you're going to also want to know all of this information. There are questions about whether or not you can substitute something, not just like the safety glasses, because you will get questions that will correspond to that. And you will also get like part of it is if you can substitute something, what can you substitute it with? And again, it just goes over more guidelines for home lab space. And first aid is just basic first aid. You should have a first aid kit for, just in case. For the eye wash station and the safety shower, it says an eye wash station is used for your eyes if you're exposed to anything harmful. You're not going to really get anything super harmful in your lab kits. They're going to be all like placebo tablets and stuff like that. So you shouldn't be too worried about any, like, you're not getting like super dangerous or harmful chemicals or anything like that. The safety shower are used for hazardous chemical spills. If you're in like an actual lab, like I said, you're not going to need to really worry about that. And like I mentioned before, needing to know if you can substitute something, we have this one. It's a standard home bathroom shower is sufficiently serves as something you could like replace that with. And then you have your one question that's at the bottom. Next, we have safety data sheets. You will see safety data sheets for lots of different things. They are very important because they go over everything about a chemical that you would be working with. And later in the lab, there is an exercise that we go over a safety data sheet. So this kind of just gives you like background information about safety data sheets. Also, they have a link toward the bottom where it takes you straight to the Science Interactive website where they have safety data sheets for materials that can be in your lab kit. You could also just search safety data sheet on like Google for whatever chemical that you're using, or you can always request information from one of the instructors. You could just send us an email if you were like concerned about any of them. And then at the bottom of this page, you have another question. Next, we have chemical handling hazards. So I don't know if you've ever been like to the store and like you've looked on like a bleach bottle or some chemical bottle and you've seen like these crazy like colorful squares and everything. This gives you like the background of what all those different colors mean. And they also give you some background information about some symbols that you might recognize as well. Further down, it talks about preparing for fires and fumes. Again, you're not going to be working with fire or like burners in your lab kit, so you won't have to worry about that, but it does just give you basic overview of all this, and you will want to know each of these items because it will ask you questions about them for like the fire extinguisher and fire blanket. And it also gives you a video on what wafting is and how to perform it. And then again, at the bottom, we have a question. So responding to spills in broken glass. Again, you're not working with any crazy chemicals, but this is just like basic information that you would need to know if you were like working in a lab. Most of the items that you get in your lab kit are going to be plastic, like your graduated cylinders and beakers are going to be plastic. The only thing that's really breakable will be your mortar and pestle, which are ceramic, so that can definitely be broken. And you will get a small digital scale that you'll want to be careful with as well. So, like I said, this just goes over if you ever encountered like acid splatter or chemical spills and worked with glassware on how to clean those up. And it also goes over use, cleaning, and disposal instructions. In case of an emergency. So it would be beneficial to have some type of first aid kit. If you need, they have a link for poison control, and they also have number. And then it moves on. Finally, we're to the experimentation. So whenever you're in a lab, it will tell you what materials you will need to provide. So the student supplied materials generally isn't going to be anything crazy. The most that you will need to provide is like juice. And if you need anything out of your Science Interactive kit, this is where it would say it. It's going to be located right under the student supplied list. But since we're not using anything for this, it just says that we're not going to use any. Okay, so this is our first question that's regarding most of like the information that was given to you previously. And you're going to want to use the drop-down menus. It's just a matching system like we have done with previous questions. And then page 13, I'm on page 13 to 19. they're all going to be questions like this. And some of them will have more than one, but this one, for instance, only has one. And it says for each lab safety item, we're going to select all household substitutions that could safely serve the same function. And if it does not have a substitute, you will click the no substitute one. So you, after reading everything earlier, we would think, oh, does a fire extinguisher has a substitute? And then if you think it doesn't, you'd click it. And again, it's not going to allow you to click more than what you'll need. And then the next one, it goes over spill contaminant kit, eye wash station, and so on. So like I said, until page 19, they're all going to be questions like this. So I'm just going to skip to page 20 because this is going to be like the next type of exercise that you see. For this, you're going to look at the picture and you can see how there's all these numbers. The numbers are, you're going to use them to associate it with what they're asking you for down here. So if you see on the right hand side, if you scroll down a little bit, 1 goes with hazardous 1. So you just got to keep in mind that 12 goes with 12. So that's pretty easy because it only goes up to 12 in the picture. So it's going to ask the safety hazard, and then it says a scientist is directly smelling a chemical from the flask. And you're going to go up to the picture and you're going to add what number you think that it would be. So if I thought it was 9, I'd click 9. And you're only going to use each number once. So you're going to use just 1 through 12, if that makes sense. And it will tell you what the correct lab safety procedure would be for the safety hazard on it. So you're not just going to want to like put your face up to something and smell it. It would be the proper wafting technique and so on and so forth for each safety hazard. So basically you're just matching the number with the safety hazard for this page. And then you can scroll all the way down and your next button. Okay, so this is where we see the safety data sheet again. You will be clicking on this link and it will automatically pop up with the safety data sheet. So what I like to do is I will literally put them side by side so I can see both of them at the same time, because that's going to make your life way easier. So what it's going to want you to do is it's going to want you to identify each of the following items on the safety data sheet. So physical state, an easy way to help you find the information is when you're clicked onto the safety data sheet, if you hit Control F, it will pop up with a little searcher at the top, and then you can start typing in. So when I can start typing in physical. And then it's going to automatically search the pages for you for that word. So I see that this section happens to be physical and chemical properties. And then it's going to want you to identify physical state. And when we go down here, again, it's another matching, and you're going to match like the, not definitions, but the information to what it's asking. So physical state. I'm going to give this one to you guys. So under physical, we'll look, and it says clear, liquid, and odorless. And one of our options is odorless liquid. So I know that the first one is going to be this option. So what you're going to do is just basically you're just going to go through. These are like more or less kind of like the different sections you're going to be looking under, because they're all listed in different types of sections on the safety data sheet. on the safety data sheet. And they're all like highlighted as this gray color. So for instance, exposure controls, personal protection, that can probably contain maybe safe disposal information. And then you can read each of the different options and see what that would best go with. And then once you complete that, you can go to the next page. Again, you're only going to be using each one of these once. For this, it's just a safety agreement that you're going to read over. There's at the bottom, you'll want to click both of these. And then that's just agreeing to both parts after you read everything over. And then finally, we have the evaluation, and the evaluation just is going to ask you questions about everything that you learned. And you can tell it's not just a couple questions, it's going to be, for this one, it's going to be 10. So the next 10 pages are just going to be one question on each one. So it's going to be 10 questions. So some of them might be true, false. Some of them are just multiple choice. This one's just kind of like a fill in the blank. And I'm going to go down to the last page since they're all just separate questions. And after you get done with all the questions, you would hit the submit quiz. And again, it'll tell you if you missed any of the questions. And you can click on these and it will go directly back to that page that you would need. So that is all I got for you guys for both of the first two labs. Does anybody have any questions?
Will we be doing this every lab, like you explaining it to us, or just because that's the first one?
We will be doing them every lab.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, so for the first one that you have showed us, do you just want us to write it like on a blank piece of paper and then
Yep.
send it?
Yeah.
So when it says that there is a due date for that, does it just have to be done by the end of the term, or does it have to be done by the due date that's posted?
We want you to have it completed by that due date.
So I was a little late. Well, I wasn't a little late. I was actually late. To the orientation, I didn't get to see the beginning of it. I know Amy told me she was recording it and was gonna
Yes.
post it. So is that how I follow up and see how I'm gonna have to do the labs, or do I need to?
Yeah. This whole thing is recorded and she's going to upload a link for it so you can watch the whole entire thing.
Okay.
So you'll be able to see anything that you missed.
All right.
And after you watch it, if you have questions, then just let us know. We can
I'm going to
definitely
put our email in the chat just in case anybody wants to have it on hand.
Just a big thing to remember is that we are all here to help you with the labs. They can be a little intimidating, but we're here to help you. We have the tutors here to help you. Your instructors are here to help you. So if you're confused or you need something explained, just reach out to us and ask us. We would love to help you versus you just, not doing it because you're confused. Yep. So
also,
yeah.
If you guys can't make it to like a tutor, since they're only available from noon to 9 p.m., you can send us an email to the phtlabs@rosseducation.edu and we can set up an appointment with you so we can meet one-on-one with you to help you with your labs as well. That's always an option. So we definitely have a lot of ways that you can get help and a lot of people.
Yes. Any other questions about the lab kit? Any questions related to the course or anything like that? Okay. Missy, did you have anything you wanted to add or mention?
Hi, everybody. I'm so glad that you guys were able to join because I think this is really crucial when it comes to doing your labs. So kudos to you. And I just want to make sure if you haven't submitted your lab kit order form to make sure that you get that done as soon as you can.
Yes. Someone just asked when the labs are going to be, or the kits are going to be shipping out. So we will be ordering them about halfway through the mod, somewhere around there, before week 4, and they usually arrive by the end of the first mod, so maybe in the last week of the first mod, which is in March, or they will come the first week of the next term, but likely it'll be before the term ends. Kira, did you have a question?
Yes, I do. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hello.
My question is that I currently live with my mom, and she have nothing but glass tables, and I know we can't do our labs on glass or any type of glass surfaces. So, is there like another way, or is there like another example for me to complete my labs, or in that type of sense?
So you're concerned about working on the glass table, right?
Yes.
Are her kitchen counters glass, or are they just like regular?
They like marble.
I feel like marble would be fine. It's definitely more durable than glass.
Yeah.
And you're not going to be doing anything like strenuous that's going to like break like a table or anything.
Right.
So I wouldn't be too concerned about it. But if you are, I would definitely say the kitchen counter.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. That's it.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. Any other questions at all?
Yeah, I have one.
Yeah.
So I know I had an issue with the ordering of the lab kit. So like I literally filled out that form 3 times.
Oh, no.
So they emailed the lab directly, and they told me to send my address there in the email. So I sent my address and all my information and email to them. Did y'all get my information?
Let me look it up really quick. Yes, we did. I added it in.
Okay, because I don't understand why I had a hard time. Because I'm like, I filled that thing out like 3 times.
Yeah, there's been some issues with that form. So if anyone has any issues like that, just reach out to us and let us know your address and we can just update it for you.
Okay, thank you. That was all.
You're welcome. I see some other hands. Shamaris.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, yes. Again, I'm just copying off of her question with the labs. I just want to make sure mine went through correctly because I know I filled it out early or
Yes,
day
I
before.
agree that we got your information.
Okay, great. Thank you.
No problem.
Kara, did you have another question? set from before. All right, Haley. We have
I'm
your
just,
reservation.
yeah, I'm just going off her question, just making sure you have my lab order form.
Yep. Someone said we do. I've seen it come through. Was it Missy?
Thank you.
Yeah, we do.
Okay. Taisha.
Can y'all hear me?
Yep.
I was trying to see, since we need like safety glasses, should we get our own until our kids come, or should we be okay until then?
You'll be fine until then, because you're
Yeah.
not going to be using anything until you get the kit anyway.
Okay. That was all. Thank you.
No problem. Yes, we have your information, Lacey.
Then is it Denasia?
Yes, it's Denasia.
What's your question?
Yes, I was just calling. Well, I was just seeing that that you have the lab kit form for me.
Yes, we have your information.
Okay, that was it.
And Christina.
Hi, yes, I was asking the same thing about the lab. Kia, I was trying to see if you have mine as well.
Yes, we do.
If anybody who wants to check on if we have their address, you can put it in the chat and I'll look it up and answer you on there.
And then I have one more question, okay, about the assignment that we did last night. So what we supposed to do was screenshot it off our laptop and then submitted it.
The picture upload.
Yeah, the starter of the lab test or lab. And it was
For
showing
the
us about
getting started lab.
explanation. Go ahead, you can go ahead.
You're talking about the getting started lab.
Yeah, and you got to take a.
Yeah, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna write your name and date on just like a blank piece of paper or a lined piece of paper, it doesn't matter. Then you're gonna take a picture of it. You can use your phone to take a picture of it, and you can then upload that to the lab.
Okay, I think that's what I did. I just wanted to make sure I did everything correctly. Okay, thank you.
When we go over your submission, if we have any issues, we'll let you know. We'll reach out to you.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Bye.
Shannon.
Hi. So I wanted to follow up with the screenshot or the picture of our name and dates on the paper. Do we also have to answer that question that's at the bottom of it?
Like the bottom of the page?
Yes, like no, the bottom of the screen. Yes, but like it says it asked us a question, but it wanted us to do the to write our name and date on there. Do we answer the question on the piece of paper as well and take a picture of it?
Let me pull up the lab really quick so I can take a look at it.
Some people did have a question for me, which I didn't realize that it was until now actually seeing it as you went over it, Heather, but they asked what was meant by science discipline because it asks to upload your name and a picture of your name and date with it labeled with the science discipline, and they were asking what that was. I'm assuming that just means the name of the lab, but I wasn't honestly even sure.
I would honestly, it could just be like you can just write the lab name on there.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
We'll look into the wording on that. Vikia?
Yes, ma'am. I was just gonna ask. I would like to ask. Did you guys get my lab? Because Miss Brooke did reach out to me saying that it didn't go through. So
Do we get it?
Yes, we did.
Yes.
Sorry, I
Yeah,
was
we
trying to
did.
get off mute.
thank you, ladies.
You're welcome. All right, there's just a couple things I wanted to mention because, of course, I think of things as we go on. In the lab kits, when it comes to, sometimes there'll be at-home items that you'll need. Don't go out and purchase any items. We can come up with substitutes around your house. You know, one lab had asked for juice. Like if you have juice at your house, great. So you don't have to use a whole bunch of it. But if you don't go out and buy juice. We'll figure something out that you have in your house. Some of the labs will ask for parchment or wax paper. If you have it at your house, great. If you don't, there's plenty of other substitutes we can find for you. So don't go out spending money on items. You don't need to do that. And the last thing I wanted to say is try to have as much fun with these as you can. This is all stuff that you could possibly be doing in the pharmacy. So it's just preparing you for when you go out on your externship. You will get a counting tray and plenty of placebo tablets. So obviously counting tablets, especially in the retail setting, is, you know, a very important part of the job. So it would be awesome for you to practice doing that even after you complete the labs, counting by fives, you know, counting 30, 60, 90 type things, just to get yourself some good practice on it and putting them in the vial. I mean, that's just one of the examples that I like to tell people. That's a really good way to prepare yourself for the externship. When I used to work at Walgreens and worked with externs myself, I would always ask them, do you know how to fill a prescription? And most of the time everyone would say yes, but there were some that said no, and I was like, oh dear. So try to have fun with it, learn as much as you can. Don't think of these as like doomed tasks. Think of it as just a way to prepare yourself. So do we have any other questions at all?
Yes, I tried to raise my hand. I'm
sorry.
Yes, I'm Janisha Ballard. I was just checking in because I thought we started at 7, but maybe the time was, it felt like I was late chiming in, so I kind of missed what we were talking about. And actually, I wanted to see about my lab as well because it was saying I didn't complete it, but I did complete it, so I didn't know if it was something I did wrong or not.
Yes, we have yours for the lab kit order form.
Okay, and could you go over like what were some of the things that you guys talked about, or is it something like I can watch? I tried to chime in at 7, but did it start at 6?
We started at 7 Eastern Standard Time. So if you're not in Eastern Standard Time, then you could have missed it, part of it, yeah. The good news is we are recording it, so I will be posting this video in the courses tomorrow.
Great. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, any other questions at all? All right, well, I think that's all we have for you. Again, this will be posted in the courses tomorrow, so if you missed something or you want to watch a replay of Heather going over the 2 labs, you can do that. And if you have any questions, make sure you're reaching out to us and letting us know right away so we can help you through it. Otherwise, I hope you guys have a good rest of your night, and thank you so much for taking time out of your day and joining us tonight.
Have a good night.
You guys too. Thank you.